6.2 inverse functions. Let's go to the worksheet. So inverse relations. Find the inverse of each relation. So that's easy. Remember, inverse literally just means switch x and y. So all we gotta do is switch x and y here. 3, negative 3, 1. Remember, switch them, transpose them. Don't change the value like I did there for no reason. So you keep the signs the same. You literally just flip flop them. 1, 5, and then 4, 6. There you go. Inverse relation. Next one, same idea. Again, all we're going to do is transpose the numbers. You just switch x and y. You just literally switch what they look like. Just trade places. And there we go. Those are inverse relations. Find the inverse. Now, remember the way we find the inverse is 1, we switch x and y. Well, I guess if you don't have a y, you make it a y. Let's switch x and y. 2, you solve for y. And 3, you want to put like the little inverse tag. So this is the first one. We're going to switch x and y. So it's going to look like kind of like this. X, y equals 3 plus 2. And then all we have to do is solve for y. So subtract 2. X minus 2 equals 3y. Divide by 3. X minus 2 over 3 equals y. And then, like I said, that I need to do, if you want fancy inverse, equals x minus 2 over 3. And there we go. Next one, same idea, right? So we're just going to switch x and y first. So x and y. And then everything else stays the same. And then you solve for y. In this case, subtract 8. X minus 8 equals 1/2 y. Now I have 1/2 y. The best thing to do here is to multiply everything by 2. Distribute 2x minus 16 equals y. Or 2x minus 16 equals the inverse. And that's the inverse load. That's like the inverse symbol. Same thing with this one. Now again, to switch x and y, so it's going to be x equals y minus 6 squared. Then you just solve. Now here, the first thing I do is square root. So square root of x equals y minus 6. I mean, you can put plus and minus square root of x. Usually we just assume we're being the positive one, and then plus 6. And there you go. Or f negative 1 of x. Given the function, find the value of each. So they want me to find the value of the inverse. So there's two ways to do it. You could find the inverse like we did up here, and then plug in 9. Or, remember, this is the inverse. So instead of x, this is normally x right here. Now it's the y value. So you plug it into here. So 9 equals x squared plus 5. Subtract 4. 5. I did the math in my head, sorry. Brain does that when it works too fast. And then square root it. So x equals 2. Or we could say plus and minus 2. It's a little tricky. It depends if they mean. Well, this is plus minus 2. Next one, same idea. Again, this is the inverse. That's normally your x, but in the inverse, that's your y. So you're going to plug it into this guy. So 6 equals square root of x minus 1. So then we have square both sides. 36 equals x minus 1 plus 1 plus 1. 37 equals x. There you go. Graph the inverse for each relation below. Put your answer on the same graph. So we want to graph the inverse of these. Different ways to do this. I'm not much of an artist, so actually before I do that, let's talk about the way you're supposed to do it. Well, one way to do it, it's flip it across the y equals x line. So you flip it across there. So remember, if you forgot how to graph y equals x, it's the easiest thing to do is put plus 0. Like, oh, it's a slope of 1 plus 0. You start at 0, you have a slope of 1. So you're supposed to flip it across that line. Now, I'm not much of an artist, so I can never do that. So another thing I do is this. I find a couple points, like 0, negative 1. Is that negative 1, 0? And this one is negative 2, 3. So I'm putting them right here. This is my f. I got negative 2, 3. You want to go in order, like left to right. So negative 1, 0. 0, 1. And then it looks like 1, 0. And then 2, 3. Alright, so those are all the points on my function here. I'm going from left to right. And I just noticed I forgot to put a negative 1 on this one. That would really mess me up. And did on the outtakes. So f of negative 1. So let's graph the inverse in green. Remember, the way you do the inverse, you want to follow the same path. You just transpose these. 3, negative 2. 0, negative 1. Negative 1, 0. 0, 1. And 3, 2. Now, we're going to plot these points and we're going to connect them in the same order. That's why it's so important you go left to right on the original. So 3, -2. So that'll be over here. 0, -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, and then 3, 2. Again, then we're going to connect them in the same order, so I'm going to start over here. And this follow through. Like that. If you look at it, it's like it spins across this line here, right? So you flip it across here. And you got this thing. So again, if you're good at that, you just do it that way. I'm never good at drawing that. Do the same thing here. When we start at 0, slope of 1. That's not a very good slope of 1. Still not good. There we go. So again, if you're good, you just flip it across there. And it'll kind of like something that goes, starts here and goes like that. I'm going to pick a couple points and just flip them. That's what I'm good at. So F and then F inverse. Start at 0, 0 looks like. Then we get 1, 1. Right there. This point, this point. Notice it doesn't have points for me out like this one did. I'm just making the ones that cross nicely. So 0, 0, 1, 1, and then was that 4, 2. I'll use those points. And then I'll just transpose them. So 0, 0, 1, 1, and then 2, 4. Again, we're going the same direction. Let's do this in green again. So 0, 0, 1, 1, and then 2 and 4. So it looks like this. Right, so again, kind of see it spins across. Not my best work, but hopefully you can see it. Next, verify inverses. Determine whether each pair of functions are inverse functions, right, yes or no. So one way to do this is just find the inverse of one of them and see if it matches the other one. That's the way a lot of people do it. What we're supposed to do is do f of g of x and see if you get x. So when it's simple like this, probably it's easy to find the inverse of one of them. But when it gets more complicated, this is actually the easiest way to doing it. Is to find f of g of x and then see if everything cancels out. So let's do that. So and I guess you're supposed to do both of them, and they both should equal x. But I'm just gonna do one way. So f of x is 2 times something plus 3. We're gonna plug g of x in it. Right? So f of g of x. So 2x minus 3. Distribute. 4x minus 6 plus 3, I get 4x minus 3. So not an inverse. Then they cancel each other out, so it's not an inverse. I'm going to do it here. Again, you can do f of g, g of x, doesn't matter. We'll just keep it f of g of x. So again, what is f? F is 4 times something plus 6, and we're going to plug g in. G is x minus 6 over 4. Now when they're inverses, it's really nice. You see them all cancel. Like here, the 4's cancel. You get x minus 6 plus 6. And look at the 6's cancel. You just get x. That's inverses. And again, when they're inverses, it works really well like that. You start canceling each other out. Next one, application problem. Formula for converting degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit is f of x equals 9 over 5x plus 32. Find the inverse of f inverse. Show that f and f are inverses. So let's find the inverse first. So the easiest way to find inverse is switch x and y. This is like my y. So you switch it. Like that. And then we're just going to solve for y. So subtract 32. X minus 32 equals 9/5 y. Then I'm going to multiply by 5/9, so I can get rid of that fraction. So multiply by reciprocal. And I'm going to leave it like that. 5/9 x minus 32 equals f inverse, also known as Celsius. Like that. Now they want me to show their inverses of each other. I guess, again, to show it, you do f of f inverse, like plug one into the other. So I'm going to plug this into my original equation right there. So 9/5 times something plus 32. Let's plug our inverse in to see if it works. So I got 5/9 x minus 32. Well, look how nice this is. So 5/9 and 9/5 cancel out, you just get x minus 32 plus 32. Those cancel, you just get x. So they are inverses of each other. What purpose does f inverse of x serve? Well, that gives you Celsius. Right, so the formula for converting degrees to Celsius, I guess in this case we'll be converting Fahrenheit to Fahrenheit. This will be the opposite, become Fahrenheit to Celsius. So it does the opposite. Instead of converting Celsius to Fahrenheit, then convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. And the last thing, let's find some inverse of these guys. So for each of these relations, so the first one here, again, step 1, switch x and y. Like this. Alright, again, to keep areas the same, just switch the letters, just transpose them. Now we solve for y, so I gotta get rid of the square root, so square both sides. Now what's the fact that y is greater than 0? This means that you're gonna get a function. That's all that's all it's about. Y plus 5, and then we subtract 5. So I get y equals x squared minus 5. Like that. Next one. Again, probably should write it nicely. There we go. Next one. F of x equals this. So step 1, switch x and y. Everything else the same. And then we're going to solve for y. So first thing I do is I get rid of that 3 there. So subtract 3 from both sides. X minus 3 equals y plus 1 squared. Square root it. X minus 3 equals y plus 1. And then subtract 1. Again, I could have put a plus and minus here. I just left it off because we're going to assume they're all positive. All positive values. So there we go. Next one. Again, switch x and y. And then right here, it's very important. Notice I just switched the letters. The power stays. The power doesn't go anywhere. You literally just switch the letters. The only thing gets switched. So the power stays where it's at. And we solve for y. Subtract 5. And then square root it. Again, I could put a plus and minus here. F inverse of x. And the last one. So switch x and y. Now again, notice this one doesn't have a y, but this is essentially y. X of x, g of x. All that means is y. So switch x and y. Then we gotta solve for y. So first thing I'll do is multiply by 2. Get rid of that fraction. So 2x equals y plus 7. And then subtract 7. 2x minus 7 equals y. Or 2x minus 7 equals f inverse of x. And that's the worksheet.